Two names that have been thrown around in this conversation are John Piper and Mike Bickle. Those are two of the dearest, closest friends that I have in this world. But I love being with them. I will minister side by side with both of them. I would give my life for both individuals. And yet, they are widely divergent in some areas of theology. I did find it ironic, by the way, that Phil quoted Mike supposedly having said that 80% of what he's seen in the charismatic world was false. Well, I find it interesting that they were critical of us because we supposedly don't police our own movement.
Right.
And then one of the leaders turns right around and polices the movement and is very critical of it, and he's criticized for it. Can't have it both ways. If you want us to be honest about error that we see, which Mike is, well, then take that and applaud him for it. Don't then turn and criticize him and use it against him. The other question that came up is Phil's question, can you be godly and prophesy falsely? Well, the answer, of course, is yes, you can, because as you pointed out, Michael, false prophets in the New Testament are unregenerate pagans. They're not born-again people who happen to prophesy in error on occasion. So I would say, can you be godly and disagree with me eschatologically? Well, of course. Can you be godly and we have different theologies about the nature of the church or the mode of baptism or any other issue of theology? Well, of course you can. My aspiration in life is to be 1/10 as godly as Mike Bickle. He's one of the most humble, self-effacing, Bible-centered, gospel-oriented men I've ever known.
But hang on. Is he orthodox in his message of salvation? That's the challenge.
Oh,
and for those who don't know Mike, you don't get to hang out with him a lot because he's always praying, literally.
Yes.
And as far as I know him, he's one of the most Jesus-centered people I know.
His affirmation of penal substitutionary atonement, of salvation by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone, his emphasis on repentance, his opposition. We and I just had lunch a month ago talking about the hyper-grace thing that you even are addressing.
Yeah, he wrote an endorsement of my hyper-grace book.
Yeah. Mike is solidly Christ-centered, gospel-centered, evangelical to the core. That doesn't mean he and I agree with each other on everything. We don't. But to impugn his character or his motivation or his godliness because...
Or his salvation
is simply outrageous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, Sam.